looks the same. He looks the same. But this is last year's car, but new back half, new front half. It's Thursday, I got my fire suit on. We are fixing to hop in and make sure all the controls are correct, along with seat belts. Y'all been busy, brother.
Oh yeah. Good.
Fresh pipe.
Got it ready to go. Fresh pipe is good pipe.
Yes. You know what Donna keeps saying?
What's that?
This spare car is going to roll out of here, and it's going to be like what Doug Coletta did. It's going to be a rocket ship, because that's what happened when they did.
Got 2 races left.
Got a race in the holdback.
Yeah, that's me.
Straight from Australia.
Straight from 15 hours of glorious fun.
All right, my office feels correct. Again, drove this car a lot, but there's a lot of little stuff that's different. New front half, meaning tubing from my feet forward, all brand new, new steering rack. Just had to make sure gas pedal's right, brake handle's right, parachute's right. And Jesse's fixing to set the toe in, and we'll actually pull the car and make sure the wheel's straight. Ain't that right, Keelan?
That's right.
New car stuff, you know the routine.
Yes, sir.
3 rounds for national championship. But remember this, everybody that's here had to do the same thing you did to get here. So if you start looking around trying to figure out who the duck is in the room, there ain't one. When it comes to Sunday, we get into elimination. 3 rounds for national championship, and that's the time you want to be sure you're concentrating on that. Until then, enjoy the moment. There's so much stuff that's going on here at the national event.
Sick Week car making its way to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, coming to hang out today.
Okay, I got it.
All right, when we're in Vegas, you just never know who you're going to see. This guy probably don't need an introduction, but it's Sean. Everybody knows him as what?
No way.
Good to see you, man. So I know this is not your first NHRA trip, but you just come to do some gambling and.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm gonna see if someone's rolling the dice on me driving their car.
You won't fit in mine, Terry. So, what has been the craziest, like, unbelievable thing that you've seen with hydro cars? The races you've been to?
Just, I'm not even sure. It's all crazy. You've got a bomb behind you that you're running, so.
That's for sure.
Yeah, these things are pretty wild. It's pretty awesome.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I wish he would fit in there, because I promise you, if he stomped on that loud pedal, he would be saying, "What? No way." All right, with all the craziness the last couple weeks, all the thrashing that our crew has went through, we have a car that I've driven before, but it has been front half and back half, has not been down the racetrack. The team did amazing reassembling a naked chassis last week, leave the track in Dallas, go to Charlotte, assemble a whole new car, and drive all the way to Vegas, like 30 hours. I'm excited. This very first run here is a planned early shutoff. I will go approximately 660 feet just to make sure all the systems are working, make sure the car's driving straight, all those things that you got to worry about with a brand new car. I'm excited. Let's go.
Jim Oberhofer making the final adjustment over there on the left side. And they tell the drivers, have at it. Sitting number 1 right now, TJ Zizzo. Wow. 373. Holy smokes. 335 miles an hour for Brittany Force. 384 for Clay Millican. And look at his speed. Only 251 miles an hour. Looking at the early numbers, Clay Millican was 400ths quicker than Brittany was at the 8th mile mark. But his car didn't make it all to the finish line. 35 miles an hour down there at the finish line. And Clay Millican was running better. That Parts Plus car was 400ths quicker at the 8th mile. We're going to take a look here on the NHRA.TV replay. Didn't get it all the way to the stripe. Watch the Parts Plus car over on the right side of the screen. Let's see if we can pick out just exactly what the issue was down there. Millican's car was really dancing around. Yeah, it looked like it just kind of threw him over out of the groove down there, and he ended up having to take his foot off the gas. But there's definitely a little more performance down there for the Parts Plus team. They can get that thing straight and true to the finish line.
Okay, Q1. As I told y'all, plan shut off. This thing, 839, 213, 297, 290 miles an hour. And I shut it off right at half track. 384 at only 251. Car danced around a little bit. Some of that could be the car. Some of it could be the driver. But got Dr. Derek here this weekend.
What's up?
Did a little, I don't know, I wouldn't say a trade, like a tag team. Dr.
Yes.
Kayla.
We tagged in.
Tagged in. Okay, so Derek's here. But y'all check that out. 839, 384. I want to show you this, though. Brittany Force over here in the run beside us, 373, 335. We were 400ths quicker than her than half track. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We shut it off where we were supposed to, and yeah, the car wiggled around a little bit, but we'll figure that out. We'll make it go straighter. All right, so I drove the car all over the racetrack, and a guy that has done it as well, drove all over the racetrack, showed up. So what in the world? I know, but tell everybody what y'all been doing this week.
So Death Week. So we've been driving a 2,000-mile journey. We started in Phoenix, San Diego, LA, north of LA, like Santa Barbara, through Sequoia Forest and Death Valley last night. Well, I missed 2 days because we were busy putting a motor in the Durango, but yeah, so still, this is only like day 7. We still have like 3 more days left before this thing's over. We still got Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam and Lake, or what the hell, Lake Havasu.
Awesome.
Before we make it back to Phoenix.
And now do you have a junkyard motor in the Durango now? What's in it
No,
now?
it's actually identical motor. Got a carrier service picked it up in Michigan and drove it all night to get it here. So we got it yesterday morning, got it in, started, drove to the hotel last night.
Heck yeah. So, and you drove it to the racetrack here.
Yep, yeah, it's sitting out back.
Setting out back. I love the Durango, and if y'all don't follow Tom Bailey, go check it out. If you're an NHRA person following me, you got to follow his channel as well, because he does a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of drag and drive stuff, and he is the owner, founder, the big kahuna of all the Sick Week stuff.
Sick the mag, yep.
Yep, Sick the Mag. And if you've been buying shirts,
Yeah, you've been on our website buying all Clay's shirts. You guys been buying them, so Clay's been going through some shirts.
that's a good thing. And I'm going to tell y'all, if you do follow the channel, and if you don't, go follow it. The first thing I said when I see this guy is he's a grumpy old man. But you're a dang good car builder, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But did you whisper in my ear, Aiden makes you grumpy?
He does. Sometimes he does, but it's okay. We get past that.
Yeah, I know. And y'all get it done and under some crazy deadlines.
Yeah, Tom likes to do everything last minute, so we're under the gun a little bit. Probably every project is under the gun, but we get through it.
But you get to go do some cool stuff.
This is an incredible journey, and I guess if I didn't work for him, I wouldn't be on this journey. So
Where are
thanks,
some of the
Tom.
places you stop?
All right, so the wiggling around on the racetrack a while ago, we found out the steering box we have on the new car was a different ratio. Jesse just changed that out. I'm old, and I love the steering ratio we've always had, and we just changed that, so we should make a nice straight run coming up here. And the car was going really quick. All right, I'm gonna go to work. Hey Blaine,
Yes, sir.
the check engine light came on,
It did.
and I stepped off.
Got all locked up too.
But you know what it did do? It drove straight.
That's always good.
That's a bonus, right? So the question is, did I step off first or did Jesse hit the button on me? Either way it go, I saw the check engine light come on, so I stepped off. So anyhow, all good. What are we doing? We're
Checking
on this
clutch.
fancy concrete pad. What are we checking today?
Checking rear wing angle and clutch.
Rear wing angle and clutch.
Yep.
You know he don't know nothing about the clutch.
I don't.
You need that blonde down here for that.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
You know you're gonna get yelled at for taking those bolts out, right?
What?
Because Caitlin didn't tell you could.
Oh, she can eat a. Never
Be
mind.
careful now, you're gonna make me edit.
I like your edit cuts.
Yes.
She can
They're
eat a cut.
needed. They're
Well, they
needed.
are with him from time to time, I promise.
That's true.
Since we're going through a quick tech inspection, I don't know what we're doing, but let's just go back here and see what she's doing.
I
The
am
latest winner.
Oh, thanks, Clay. Hey, I was next to you.
We've done that a lot, actually.
I like when we're meeting each other later on.
I do
that's,
too.
That's way better.
I do too.
But
So right this moment, did I hear them say you got it?
we're third. I don't.
No.
Yeah.
Points. You're second, right?
Oh.
By 4? Is that right?
Oh, we were ahead by 4 coming into today. Doug had got 3.
That's
on
what I was
Q1,
trying- yeah.
And I mean, we saved the points calculations for during the middle of the week.
Right.
I don't know what we weren't gonna make a change on the car.
Yeah.
Based on.
Yeah.
We plan to go 68 on that.
Yeah.
Rather be underpowered right now than overpowered, and
Yeah.
not where we're at,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What happened to you? Did you just lock up?
Hold out. Locked
Oh.
up. And I don't know why they didn't take the drive shaft out of it. They put the dollies under it. And then I asked that question, and they're like, we don't do that. But I thought, it's way quicker than putting dollies under it. It's one bolt, take the clamp off, move the drive shaft, coupler, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway, hey.
Hey, we're thankful for the people
Yes.
that do come and help us.
Exactly.
They go through a lot of cars.
Oh,
Maybe
yes,
don't
they
know
do.
them all.
Yes, they do.
So, well, anyway, always great seeing you, Clay Milliken fans. You guys absolutely rock. I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Clay, giving us some race love. I mean, we're all in the hunt of this.
I know. It's awesome.
I told Antron today, I go, funny cars are running, and I'm like, we do that. We go that fast. And he's
I
like,
know.
no.
It's crazy, right?
For you guys watching, whenever Clay videos when he's towing down and the cars come back this way, for me, I don't know how it is for you, Clay. It's wild.
Oh, it's
I go,
incredible.
"Whew, whew."
It is weird. I
Breathing.
watch cars when we're in the water box, and I'm like, oh my God. And then we go out there and go faster sometimes, you know? It's insane.
Conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Conditioning. Well, I hope you're back as well.
It's
And,
better. All right, folks, what we got right here is a pile of junior racers. What this means is every one of these folks right here are after my job, and I'm worried about it. Everybody say hi to YouTube. All right, one other thing. On 3, I want y'all to say, stomp on that loud pedal. 1, 2, 3. Give me a 5. Give me a 5. Give me a 5. Thank you, guys.
so sweet.
Exactly. All right, folks. New car, went straight. Did not keep the blower belt on the whole way. Pitched the belt off. I think I felt a hole go out and then the belt come off. We'll see. As Mark says, y'all know Mark, you've seen him a lot. But who you haven't met before is Mark's dad. Appreciate you being out here.
Love it.
All the way from Canada, but via Arizona, I think, right?
Right.
And of course, Derek's back here. We're hanging out. I feel a whole lot better about the car. I mean, yes, we have not like ripped one down through there yet, but it's going straight. It's drivable. Now we just got to figure out what this thing wants and make it happen. All right, here we are in the lounge, and overwhelmingly, y'all said in the comments that you appreciated me and Jimmo doing a quick little recap of qualifying or the race. And yes, last time we might have run a little long, 22 minutes, but let me tell y'all something. Y'all have no idea the conversations y'all are missing out on when there ain't a camera around, because if there's one thing me and Jimmo like to do is talk and tell racing stories. So we'll try not to go 22 minutes, but we might need to start another channel just for Jimmo racing stories. Maybe we'll do that at some point. Anyway, all right, Jimmo. Qualifying, actually the last couple weeks have been eventful, but again, I'm gonna try not to go 22 minutes here, but
well, you might try to not go 22
I know.
minutes, but I might ramble on and it might end up 22 minutes, so who knows.
So tell us about the week, I guess. With everybody knows about the car, and Kaylin did a wonderful video updating people at the shop, and now here we are.
Well, we, the guys and girl did an amazing job after Dallas. We busted up our favorite race car, 3-time winner this year, and had to drag the one out from last year that we ran, but it has a brand new front half and back half on it that Don Schumacher Racing did for us. Old Nick back there really did a great job. So, we put the car together, got it running. We put a big old smile on Rick Ware's face, had him warm it up, and I figured out, man, if we ever need stuff out of Rick, like buy stuff, we'll just say, hey, let's start the car up and put Rick in it, and then we can get anything we want, that day. So, but everything worked great. We got the car going and running, no leaks, no flaws, no anything, and got all done, and where they hightailed it here to Vegas, and it's been a little challenging here through qualifying.
Well, let's just start with Q1.
Yeah, so I told Clay, I said, it's a fresh car and we know everything works and all that. But I said, let's just not go out and do anything stupid, and let's just shut it off 700 to 800 feet, and let's get a reading on everything, make sure everything works. And so we car goes out there and it's ripping along pretty good, and Clay shut it off, and thinking, all right, we're good, looking at the incremental numbers, like, man, I probably would run 70 flat, maybe a little better, and come back and because it moved around down there, and I told Bruce Reed, I go, because he goes, what was that all about? And I said, so here's the deal. I said, Clay will come back, and if it was him, he'll tell you it was him. He'll say, that was your driver moving around. I said, he could be, waving at his fans up there in the grandstands, who knows. I said, but if something's wrong, he'll say something's wrong. And so Clay come in and he's like, man, he says, it didn't feel right. And felt light on the steering wheel. I'm like, okay, that means there's something wrong. So we started looking at everything, and what we found, believe it or not, was the steering box that was on the other race car was a different ratio than the one that's on this car. So Clay has a pretty quick steering ratio, so he doesn't have to make much movements to get the wheels to turn, right? The steering wheel, or the steering box that got put on this car is more of a standard one, so a little bit slower. So to get movement out of it, you've really got to turn it. And which all the dragster guys have that slow steering box, so they don't get crazy. Clay's the only one that has the fast steering box, and I think it's because he is crazy, but it's a good crazy. And so Clay was making his normal movements. Problem was, it wasn't doing anything. He needed to be this. Well, he's not used to that. And so I asked Clay, I said, well, what do you want to do? You want to like leave this one on, or do you want to put, like, because I thought the other one was damaged. He goes, man, I got 25 years of driving with this one steering box. And Clay and I have before.
Not the same steering box,
yeah,
but that
but
ratio.
That ratio.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Clay and I talked about this years ago before we ever started working together. And I kept saying, that's not right. That's not right. But it is right for Clay Milliken. And the other one's wrong for Clay Milliken, but the other ones are right for them, and the one that Clay Milliken uses is not right for everybody else. So so I'm like, oh, okay. So we fixed that, went up there for Q2. We sawed through the clutch pretty hard, and then it put a cylinder out, and so it welded the clutch and it spun the tire, probably about 300 feet. So come back today and set it all up kind of like we had at Q1, and thing was out there trucking along pretty good. Well, then the blower belt broke, and we've had some weird things going on with the blower belts right now. And it's not the belt, the Gates belt's a very good belt. We've never had any issues with it, but we found out we had an alignment issue. We had a couple things that weren't right, and I think that's what contributed to the belt coming off. So I'm like, all right, let's fix this. Let's get back up there. We put some new blower pulleys on. We changed our idler bracket geometry. We did a few things, and I'm like, all right, let's go up there. Let's make a full pull and let's get deep into the show. And thing leaves the start line, and it's like, looks good. It's good. It's like, all right, we're going good. And all of a sudden it quits. And I'm like, I didn't see a belt fly. And I'm just like, what was that? And so, me, when stuff like that, I just walk off the starting line and I'm walking away, and I get back, and then Jesse tells me, Clay shut it off because, as we've been kind of joking this weekend, the check engine light came on, and we've got some things, on the computer that can monitor some stuff. So, like, if there's low oil pressure or pan pressure, there's like these dash warning lights that come on. Well, unfortunately for us, also in the dash warning lights, it will tell you if a cylinder drops. Problem is, we didn't have a cylinder that dropped. We had a bad EGT that measures the exhaust temperature out of the header pipes. So when the EGT quit, the computer automatically registered that it dropped a cylinder, and the dash lights come on. And so Clay, being the good, responsible driver that he is, he shut it off, because we don't want to tear up, Rick Ware's parts, and because we did some of that in Dallas, and we're not a huge team, and we're trying not to tear up things. So we see that, we're looking, and we're just like, oh man, like we had a good run going, probably a high 60 of some sort. That would have put us, at least in the top 5. And so, because of that, for all of our hard work this weekend, we get to run Steve Torrence first round.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, that's great.
Yep. Yep.
But as we talked about before, last year I think we were number 15 qualifier, and we had to run Justin Ashley first round, and we took him out.
Yep.
And you know, we can do it. But I will tell you this, that those dash warning lights are disconnected for tomorrow.
And for those of y'all that are pretty sharp and you follow along, you heard him mention it has now an oil pressure warning light. Yes, it does. Because if you were following along, you know that at Dallas, when we started the car and had oil pressure, the driver never looked at it again, and we had the big boomer. So while the EGTs are unhooked, that oil pressure warning light's still there.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of that. That's for me and Clay and Jesse. That comes on. That's the only thing that will come on. And if it comes on, we know we have no oil pressure.
Yeah. But all the other fancy stuff is now turned off. So
yeah, I was telling my guys before. I said, man, we sure did dig a hole this weekend. We're digging ourselves a bigger and bigger hole, and I said, I'm too fat to be climbing out of holes. So I'm like, let's not be digging holes anymore.
Exactly. Well, guys, we managed not to make it 22 minutes, and
How long?
how about 10 minutes and 54 seconds?
Wow,
That's
good job.
that's quick for us. But I really think we need to think about maybe during the off season, me and Jimmo will do some racing stories, and maybe we'll bring some friends along to tell some of those racing stories, right?
Oh yeah.
We've got a friend in mind. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but we got a friend in mind. Maybe we'll do some racing stories in the off season. We'll both be at the shop some, and maybe we'll do that. But that is a wrap on qualifying. Welcome to Vegas, race day. Chilly this morning. We probably look a little funny over here. No awning. It is predicted 30 to 40 mile an hour winds today. Let's just look right next door. You see no awnings up. It's going to be interesting. This racetrack is phenomenal. But when it gets windy like that, you can get sand everywhere. So, we are going out here racing Steve Torrence this morning. He's battling for a championship. We are battling for a top 10 spot. Let's see what we can do today. Get this new race car down the racetrack under power. Let's go.
Our number 15 qualifier is a three-time winner in top fuel this year. Please welcome Clay Milliken.
And the next pair coming to life. I don't know how many of you race fans know this, but Leah's favorite drag racer right now is Clay Milliken. Because Clay Milliken has got a chance to stop Steve Torrence. If Steve Torrence wins this round, he will move into the point lead. At least temporarily. The Parts Plus machine over there on the left side of the racetrack. That is part of the Rick Ware racing team. Jim O, as he's known, Jim Oberhofer, they have said throughout the course of the season, and I'm certainly not talking behind his back, he'd tell you the same thing. When it's hot, when the track is like hot and greasy and tricky, that is their wheelhouse. When it's cool, fast, and throwdown conditions, they're not quite as comfortable coming in. But you got to come in this morning and take a swing at it. Clay Milliken is trying to stay in the top 10. And that's a bonus, believe me. You get to stand on the stage. There's usually sponsor incentives, other things going on. Steve Torrence is trying to win another championship, so he's got plenty of incentive as well. And we're talking about the Capco boys, Redline Oil, Team Toyota over in the right side. Torrence, number 2 qualifier. Milliken, number 15. Steve-O looking for a point lead. 369, 332 for the win. Milliken has a tire come off at the top end of the racetrack. Riding a tricycle down there through the shutdown area, but he's got it straight and true and kept it from hitting anything. 3:7:05, 331 miles an hour. Comes up on Milliken's scoreboard. On the starting line, they were separated by 14 thou. Down the racetrack, Steve added another 11 to win by 2.5 hundredths. And right as they stepped off the throttle, the left rear tire on Milliken's car disappeared, and he had to chutes out and rode that tricycle through the shutdown area to a safe stop. Looking at the incremental numbers, that was a great drag race. Those two cars, identical 60-foot, identical 330-foot time, separated by 100th at the 8th, separated by 11 thousandths in performance at the finish line. Milliken made a really nice run. Torrence was a little bit better. Steve's car was dancing around as he approached the finish line, and it was right at the finish line. Looked like the belt came off, and tire went with it. Shrapnel goes flying, and at that point, Clay Milliken is trying for all he's worth to A, keep the car out of Steve's lane, and B, keep the car off the wall. He accomplished both of those tasks. Unfortunately for the Parts Plus team, he was unable to turn on the win light. Steve Torrence moves on 3.694, and that's even going to be worth lane choice in the next round. Clay Milliken's car really made a nice run. Didn't look like there was any issue whatsoever until right at the finish line when he stepped off the gas. And the left rear slick disintegrated. We're going to be cleaning up some stuff at the top end of the racetrack here for just a little bit. Good news is, again, Clay able to keep the car in his lane, off the wall, minimize the damage. We've got a little shrapnel to clean up down there at the top end before we continue on with round number 1 of Top Fuel. Pencil Steve Torrence into the next round in 3.694. 369, 332 for the win. Milliken has a tire come off at the top end of the racetrack. Riding a tricycle down there through the shutdown area, but he's got it straight and true and kept it from hitting anything. 3:7:05, 331 miles an hour. Comes up on Milliken's scoreboard. On the starting line, they were separated by 14 thou. Down the racetrack, Steve added another 11 to win by 2.5 hundredths. And right as they stepped off the throttle, the left rear tire on Milliken's car disappeared, and he had to chutes out and rode that tricycle through the shutdown area to a safe stop.
It would have been better if the wind light come on. All right, it's pretty obvious we had an incident. The tire stayed out of the wall, but we did our race. All right, y'all, here's where we're at the moment. We can't even get the Pro Jacks under the car. We've got some damage to the, help me out, is I can't, rub blocks, which is where the Pro Jacks go. The boy ain't quite like getting on all late at the moment.
I'd be changing my underwear if I was you.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
I didn't see it. All I saw was shit in the air. And I know something's wrong.
Yeah, you knew it wasn't good, didn't you?
Usually when not much shit's in the air, it's blower, wing, or tire.
Yeah. It was a ride, I'll tell you that.
It's going to match with the same fittings as this one does.
So we got to get the car up in the air to make a determination. Is it hurt? If it's hurt, we're in trouble. Just got our fingers crossed the frame rails are not tweaked. It's been a rough few weeks, y'all.
That's the worst of it, Jimmy, that it broke the front one. I don't know if the front end's tweaked. I sent pictures to Nick.
can get you can get a piece, talk to Nick, and about putting a cap on it.
A saddle.
Yeah. Yeah, basically you would put it on and then you just weld around it.
Higher clamshell.
It's been a long time, but it's been we did it a couple times.
All right, y'all, we have a plan, and I will give you all the details of that here momentarily, but without a doubt, this car will not be raced in Pomona, so I will get with Jimmo here in just a few minutes, and we'll talk about all the things going on, but basically, this car has that damage I showed you on the frame rail. It is apparently also got a twist in it. Anyway, me and Jimbo will go over that with you guys. But this chassis will not be at the racetrack in Pomona. And now we can't even put our dolly under it because the skid blocks are where the dolly is attached. And Jesse's got a brand new one that's got to be put on. I ground it away.
I know. I don't know what you were doing out there.
Dirt track.
Driving the wheels off of
Dirt
it.
track
What
it.
you're doing.
Hey, I grew up watching Sammy Swindell, so.
Yeah, Sammy, I love it. Yeah.
I'm not a dirt track driver.
I was.
I know you was.
You drove the wheels off of it.
So as you can see here, Jesse's got the rub block off. There's a brand new one. That looks like it's been on a belt sander.
Yeah.
It does. It looks like a belt sander.
That's quite a bit taken off of it.
It does. I guess if you rub the ground going 331, you might look like that too.
Woo!
I would say.
Yeah. All right, y'all, race day, and I'm going to bet a bunch of you've already watched the race, but you don't have a clue what all went on, and we're doing our normal wrap-up, and we have more guests here because we have more things happening.
Hey, bro.
All right, where do we start, Jimbo? How about we start with this morning and preparations? How about that?
Man, I'll tell you what, woke up this morning, come out, it was a bit chilly and windy. So, you know, definitely the conditions from yesterday changed quite a bit. We had, you know, an air temperature that we were going to deal with first round, probably we thought like about 60 degrees. Barometer was better, so the quality of air was better today than what it had been the last couple of days. Then we had the what we anticipated to be about a 75-degree racetrack, and those of you that have been following along know that we've struggled on those tracks that are that cool, but we felt really confident that we found something and we're gonna make some headway, and we felt really confident based on our we'll just call them short aborted runs that we made yesterday that we could give Steve Torrance a run for his money. So basically, you know, set the motor up with the intentions of going out there, and we figured we were going to have to run between a 68 and a 70 to have a chance to beat Steve Torrance. And got up there, track temp was about 77 degrees, about 61 degrees of air temperature, and you know, we feel like we hit our tune-up numbers real good. And man, thing got down there, it made it through that shake zone where we've had trouble. I'm like, all right, we've got a chance. And boy, it was a real close race. And then so yeah, we make this run, and you know, I look up and I see 370 with a 5, but then I don't see a wind light. But as soon as you step off that throttle, like, things got pretty interesting, and blew out the left rear tire. And you know, and it was, you know, just kind of like, whoa, what happened here? And Jesse, you know, radioed to you, and you know, because we weren't sure who it was because we couldn't see that far down, but we he said, you know, Jesse says, no, it's Clay. And but you know, the one thing that we do know after all of this is that it did not run over the blower belt. The blower belt broke after the fact and came flying out after the fact. There were no parts out of the engine. The engine did not hurt itself. The engine actually looked pretty nice after that run once we got back here. Depending on who you talk to or who you listen to out there, you know, they might tell you that the engine had engine damage and there was stuff coming out of the header pipe, but that's completely false. And as usual, stuff that comes out of that idiot's mouth is false. You know, the tough part is that our car is bent. We came back and, you know, we were hoping, you know, that maybe the coupler would line up and that we would be able to, you know, run this car again. But unfortunately, it's not. Unfortunately, it's going to need some work. So Jesse and the boys are going to head back to Don's Schumacher shop and see our buddy Nick at the Schumacher chassis shop, and we're going to take our car from Dallas is on its way there. We're going to take this car there, and basically we're going to take the lesser of two evils and go to Pomona. So the one that's the easiest to fix is the one that will run in Pomona, and it's probably going to be the one from Dallas. But man, it was a tough weekend. You know, we you know, had a game plan coming in here and had some things go against us, like, you know, in qualifying, and unfortunately we qualified 15th. You know, we all know that we shouldn't have been running Steve Torrance first round, and you know, we should have been qualified in the top 5 at least, and you know, maybe had a better shot of it first round, you know. But bottom line is, you know, as tough as this weekend is, or has been, as tough as it was in Dallas and all the nonsense that's gone on between Dallas and this race, with other things, being able to wake up in the morning and go drag racing is still a blessing, you know, and to go drag racing with Clay and my Aussie brother Bruce here, and then my son, you know, Jesse here. That's a blessing, you know, and it's not a bad day. It's never a bad day of racing. I tell people all of this all the time. I've only had, you know, really a couple bad days of racing, and you know,
we talked about that.
The one, you know, was with Scott, you know, and that's a tough deal, and you know, so going down there, you know, knowing that you're okay and seeing you smile, that, you know, that we can have all the bent up, blown up shit that we can have, but the most important thing is you're out there smiling and stuff, and ready to go do it again.
Exactly. So Bruce, I wanted you to sit down because, you know, you're like the ideal bounce off guy, and you spend a lot of time checking over the motor, and because of certain people in the TV booth, you check the motor over, you check the bearings, you look at the pistons and all that. How was our motor first round?
Oh, the motor was beautiful. I mean, it was ready. If the chassis wasn't damaged, we'd be ready to go again. Same block. Goodyear came here, saw that nothing was missing out of our cylinder heads. Nothing was missing out of the block. There was no holes in the engine, no rods out, no valves missing out of heads that allegedly came out of headers. You just wish that people who falsely portray themselves as journalists would do some background checks and come down and check the facts before they open their mouth. I mean, good God, it's amazing the guy's still got a job. In our job, we're accountable for what we do, and if we make a mistake, Rick will fire our backsides out of there. So
plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard. This is the second time in 2 weeks that misreporting about our team has been broadcast to the worldwide, and it's just false, and it comes from the same uneducated source.
Jesse.
Yep.
I'm zooming in on you just a little bit here. So you don't get enough screen time on the channel, to be honest with you, because you're always so busy. But whether you realize it or not, you know, me and you are tied together while I'm going down the racetrack.
Oh yeah.
Those radios mean a lot to me because we all know I love talking a whole lot. Most of the time what I say don't mean a whole lot, but when you saw that you were on the radio while I was still wheeling, what were you thinking? Like you literally, you don't even know this because I hadn't said it, but I literally was hands full and couldn't push the button exactly when you were already trying to make sure things were what?
The biggest thing is Clay's safety, and I saw some come apart. He's got a handful of driving, amazing driving. The biggest thing is, safety. Are you all right? Clay's all right. We can fix a race car. We can fix blocks. We can fix blowers. We can do all this. Can't fix Clay if he's hurt. So that's priority number one. Us going back to Indy and fixing cars and doing all this, it'll be ready to go. We'll go to Pomona and come out swinging and qualify 1, 2, or 3 and get lane choice and get that competitor where we can go some rounds and get that top 10. So biggest thing is safety.
So obviously there's the boss, you're the implementer. And you had a lot to do with the planning. What exactly are we doing? I mean, like personnel wise, how are you making all this stuff go? What's happening?
So the plan is, obviously you look at everything. You looked at, obviously we messed this car up in making phone calls to Nick and making phone calls to Chase at Coletto. All right, Doug's car, it happened, it blew a tire. What was their game plan? So this is the first time I experienced, all right, the chassis is messed up, front half is messed up, back half's messed up. You take, like Jimmo said, you take of, the best of both worlds, right? We wheelie the front end, and I talked to Nick when Schumacher did it in Denver last year. They just put a front half on it and call it a day. So the plan is I'll leave tomorrow. Me and Kaylin are going to drive to Indy tomorrow. Take this car that we have. Meanwhile, while this is all going on, Blaine is flying out tomorrow morning, flying to Charlotte, taking our chassis that we wheel stood, cutting the front half off, putting it up my pickup truck, driving to Indy. Nick's going to put a front half on it from DSR. Hopefully he can get a front half on it by the time we even get there. And we're going to do the same thing that we did when we wheel stood, just swap everything back over. Hopefully get it done Friday. Then me and Kaylin are driving to Pomona. Blaine is flying to Charlotte to Vegas to pick up the other truck, driving to Pomona and meeting the team at Pomona. So,
one last thing, Jimmo. So you're getting to, what would this be? Basically 3 cars, more or less, in 3 races, 3 essential. But a big difference in this go round is NHRA has changed the rules for the front half of the car for next year, and that's what you're electing to do with good reason, because there's only 1 race left. What are the differences that we are going to have when we get this 3-win car back?
Well, so the new spec for next year, they're looking for 058 wall upper and lower frame rails on the car. So
what's the current rule?
Right now it's 049 wall, and so the rules for next year are going to say 058. So we're gonna go that route. It also says from the front of the foot box, I think it's the front of from the foot box basically to the right front wheel. It has to be, the center of the right front wheel has to be 160 inches. Our car right now is 161 inches. It's been that way. So basically instead of having a 300-inch car, we're going to have a 299-inch car. And I checked with NHRA, and that is legal to do. So we're just going to go that route, and you know, and I guess, you know, Pomona will be a little bit of a test for us. You know, talking with Nick at Schumacher's, like, we're going to do everything we can to try to make the car as close to the current car that we have, whether it's the car we were racing today in Vegas or the car that we raced in Dallas. But you know, I feel good. We'll go out and run our car and run it hard, and we'll have a good, you know, good Pomona, and yeah, get maybe a little bit of a leg up on for next year.
Exactly. So there's one big gaping hole in everything that I always share everything with you guys, and that is, I don't even know how to talk about this, the penalty from Dallas. We will do a complete rundown of everything that happened with our 74 points we lost in Dallas. And the reason I'm not going to sit here, me and Jimmo could unload and it'll be a whole episode on its own. And the reason we're not going into that in detail is because we've appealed it. Essentially, would that be like in a lawsuit case, kind of, sort of? Yeah. So we can't talk about it just yet. There is an article on Competition Plus if you care to go see it. It's very generic. I could not go into details. I'm going to tell you right now, we have no chance of winning because NHRA has a rule that they make the rules, and if they don't like the rule, they change the rule. That's what I'm going to tell you. But the only thing I'm going to tell you on all of this is we did nothing that was, what's the word you use? Malice? There was no malice in what we did.
Yeah, no malice.
No malice.
No malice, and we were within the rules of what we did. Unfortunately, nobody checked the facts.
Yeah.
And nobody bothered to really
follow up
about what really happened.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because, you know, 74 points is a big deal for this team, and you know, it's was it Bob Tasca said it's their sandbox?
Yep, it's their sandbox.
Yeah.
Wasn't duct tape either.
We can tell you this, it was not duct tape to the chassis at all.
Yeah.
And we're not barnyard mechanics like some idiot says. So.
Yeah. There you have it. You will get every single detail when I can tell you. And I don't know when that'll be because, again, we don't know how the process works. Neither one of us, I'm 25 years in Top Fuel, Jimmo's 35. Neither one of us have ever had any kind of issue like this, but you will find out every single detail the moment we can tell you guys. Appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, sharing. What's the rest of it there, Bruce? You know? Let's see how many videos you watch.
God, shit, don't put me on the spot. I don't know. Like and share and
and stomp on that loud pedal.
Stomp on that loud pedal.
See you in the next one.
That's it. Perfect. Bye, y'all.